John and Frances Brennan own and run the 5-star Park Hotel Kenmare. They're on a mission to help struggling guest houses beat the recession, and this week they're at the Strand Inn in Dunmore East.
Like the toiletries in my room now, okay, we're a 2-star hotel. They shouldn't be here.
Clifton and his younger sister Louise grew up here in what was a thriving business. Their father died 2 years ago. Their mother's stepping back and now they have to take over. Can the Brennans prepare them for the tough choices ahead?
Because this is where you make the money.
I know.
I keep saying that to you.
It's a lesson in hospitality they will never forget.
Nervous and excited.
Yeah, no, we're kind of nervous, but I think it's a good challenge as well.
It's the middle of March and the sun is shining in Dunmore East, County Waterford. The Brennans have come to help the Strand's next generation get ready for the summer season. Their first challenge is to check in.
Where's reception?
I don't know, did we come in the right door, did we?
Try the bar there, John.
There's no reception desk, but there is a welcome at the bar.
Hello there.
Clifton and Louise want to bring the Strand back to its glory days. But the 2 years since their father died have been tough. Although the summer can still be busy, turnover in the rest of the year has been falling fast.
We're very much weather dependent. So when the sun is out, we're busy, but when it's a dull day, people seem to wander off and do other things.
Thank you very much.
No, pleasure.
I'm not in bunks, am I?
Although Clifton and Louise work in the business full-time, it's Mum, Edwina, who holds the purse strings. She's agreed to let the Brennans help her children give the Strand a new lease of life.
Mum is the chief whip, we want to come up with some nice ideas, and I kind of make her proud and all the rest as well, you know.
Now this is lovely, nice and fresh, seasidey, which is exactly what it should be.
It reminds me of a place in California on the beach.
The windows to the floor are beautiful. You can see right out to the sea.
A look at the books soon reveals that the heart of the business is in food and drink. On the ground floor, there's an 80-seat restaurant and 3 bars. Food is also available outside. On a busy summer's day, they have the potential for 130 covers. Although the food is holding its own, upstairs it's a different story. The Strand is a good size with 16 rooms, but its annual occupancy is less than 50%.
But the bathroom now, they haven't touched the bathroom.
With its beachfront location, it's obvious the Strand has potential, but right now it's letting itself down.
The room I'm in is absolutely gorgeous, but you wouldn't expect that room looking at this building.
No.
And if I was driving by here, that is the room I would love to stay in, but I wouldn't come in here thinking it's here.
Yeah. There needs to be a kind of
freshen up.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. There's a great mix of things here, all doing business in its own way, so we have to marry them very carefully, because you can't alienate anything they have. And we need to think about it. I need to walk around a little bit more tonight just to get a feel of things, and then we sleep on it, and we'll decide then.
But you couldn't beat the location.
Oh no, it's fantastic.
No, it's glorious.
Absolutely gorgeous.
It's morning, and another sunny spring day in Dunmore East.
Morning. That looks gorgeous, thank you. Perfect.
After breakfast, the Brennans will present their plan, but first, there's time for a final look round. As well as the Strand, Clifton and Louise also run a separate restaurant, The Cliff, which is just 100 metres along the road. In the summer, it sells fast food and takeaway. In the winter, it's a very big store.
I can't believe that they have this space full of furniture when it could be producing revenue.
Dunmore East is a pretty village just 25 minutes from Waterford and only 2 hours from Dublin. The Brennans know that Clifton and Louise could be sitting on a gold mine, but not without a lot of work.
You must have the second nicest village in Ireland.
We won't mention the name of the other one.
No,
I'm guessing where this is going.
And I went for a walk right out around by the cliff, and came all the way back. And the first disappointment I got was when I came across the hill and I looked down here, because I don't think the outside of your building does justice to what you have inside. And we think that costs you money because people aren't attracted to the building.
Are you talking about like a coat of paint, or what are you?
It's more than a lick of paint, okay? Because there's wires hanging down right along the edge of the building here. The fascia board needs painting, your tables needs painting out here, and your signs need to be coordinated.
The Brennans want to tidy up outside to encourage people in, but they don't just want them in the bar and restaurant.
The biggest business you have here is food and beverage, but you do have a lot of rooms which are not selling very well today.
No, that's totally true, yeah.
Yeah. So and of course, you know, I'm a devil for the rooms because that's where the money is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So the food and beverage is so strong, sales-wise here, you're totally absorbed by it down here and you're blind to what's going on upstairs.
The Brennans are convinced that the bedrooms could bring in a lot of money, but at the moment the small details are being ignored.
John had no soap. I didn't have a toilet roll holder, and the bathroom was 12 years old, I would say, and there was never one there because there was no screws. I checked.
Yeah,
I'm just saying these things.
No.
And I didn't have a little shelf in the shower, so to put the bottle of shampoo, you have to bend up and down to leave it on the floor. There's nowhere to.
And the quality of the shampoo, to me, would be 2-star hotel.
Yeah, I would agree on that.
And they're the little things that we think are missing in the rooms.
The Brennans' plan is to increase year-round business by building up solid room sales. They have to take the accommodation seriously, and they need to start with the proper reception area.
If you realised how important rooms could be to you, you would have a reception desk.
Okay.
They also want downstairs to reflect the stylish rooms upstairs, so they want to see the middle bar brought up to date.
The plan to have the middle bar refurbished will tie in lovely with if you do some work in the rooms. Rooms, bar, lounge will all marry together much better.
Clifton and Louise have been thinking about building a large conservatory, and they want the Brennans' advice.
There's a lot of little functions that take place in the village. They would have it in Dunmore if there was a room suitable.
You know, rather than building an extension to the existing business here, you have the facility next door, so you can cater for the wedding and you have no capital expenditure.
If you did 8 or 10 weddings there a year, you would double your turnover from what you did there last year with very little effort.
Yeah, but that'd be super. Like, we never thought about that in the Cliff.
Functions in the Cliff restaurant would increase turnover and room sales with a minimal investment. The plan is all about working with what you have and making it work better.
So, to summarise, you have attention to detail in the bedrooms, refurbishing the bar down here, possible painting outside, and then the Cliff restaurant, which would give you the wedding space. So you have plenty to do with not a lot of outlay, which would absolutely boost your revenue.
Yeah, that sounds great. We'd be very...
We've had a couple of tough years, recession-wise and weather-wise for us. So my mother will be delighted to hear that we're not paying out so much money as well, that Clifton loves to spend money. We like to keep it back.
The Brennans want a summer relaunch and work has begun in earnest. The outside is beginning its tidy up and the Cliff restaurant is being cleared. There's a lot to do, and with his wife working away in Dublin, Clifton is having to juggle the renovations with looking after his 2 children. Edwina is delighted that her son and daughter are so motivated.
Mike died 2 years ago, and I think they grew up at that stage and realised that they really had to actually commit to the business. Sure, they have to make their own mistakes as well, but we can't afford to make too many of them. That's the trouble anymore.
The Brennans are convinced the key to a profitable future at the Strand is increasing room sales. So John has brought Clifton and Louise to the Harbour Master in Aberyron, mid-Wales. The Harbour Master is 2 hours from Cardiff, and Aberyron has a similar seaside feel to Dunmore East. John starts by showing them the nautical styling that he thinks they should copy throughout the Strand.
Now, there's a lovely driftwood feel to here, but the most important thing about here, for your point of view, is that while it is a bar, the emphasis is on wines and premium drinks. And that's a change that I think would make a huge difference to your property.
With a restaurant, bar and 13 bedrooms, the Harbour Master is a similar size to the Strand. But here, the focus is very much on making the rooms perfect.
They're nice, aren't they?
It's a really cute little room, I have to say.
Yeah, very smart.
And these are lovely. You could have put them in Irish.
Oh, look at this. This is fantastic. What a view.
It's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Oh, I just love it. I love the windows and the shutters.
The bed linen is gorgeous. It's just like the attention to detail.
But you know, the most important thing here is that there's a coordination in everything from the front door to the back door. But this didn't happen overnight, so don't beat yourselves up thinking, God, we have to have this tomorrow. But you have to have the plan to work towards, and that's what they have done here.
John's convinced this is what the Strand should aspire to, and he's hoping the figures will speak for themselves.
Now, I'm going to be very bold and ask you a rude question, all right, but what was your occupancy in January of this year?
January of this year, in fact, I looked it up the other night, it was just over 70%.
In January?
Wow.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
That's unbelievable. Like, we'd be dreaming if we were getting 70% in January, you know?
It drives the rest of the business because even on a winter's night you have 20, 24 guests staying, which drives the bar, which drives the restaurant, which is really, really important.
The rooms here drives the downstairs business, where with yourselves downstairs drives the upstairs business. And if we can flip that around and replicate what they have done here, I think you have a much better chance.
Louise and Clifton have seen their future.
I'm excited. John and Francis have actually come up with the goods.
But getting there without bankrupting the business is another matter.
All the money is going out, and there doesn't appear to be a major plan in place for money coming in.
Clifton and his sister Louise are taking over the family business, and they are working hard to get the Strand ready for the summer season. The Brennans want them to pay attention to detail in the rooms, improve the exterior and coordinate the bar with the bedrooms. For the last 6 weeks, the Strand has been a hive of activity. Their father Mike ran the Strand for 40 years. He died 2 years ago, and their mum Edwina has given the green light to the reinvestment. Today, Francis is back to check on progress.
Great to see you.
Not yet.
Destroying the place.
Yeah, but it's much bigger than I thought, is it?
We took out where you're standing.
There was a wall,
there was a partition. Turns out that there's an old railway sleeper holding up the building.
Oh, thanks be to God.
Yeah.
You have a new floor. It's a gorgeous floor.
The plan is to completely refurbish. They're aiming for a fresh nautical feel.
So it's going to really lift the room. It's going to be real beachy chic.
Creating an airy seaside look will coordinate the bar with the style of bedrooms. In the guest lounge, there's another surprise.
Ah, wow, you have a reception desk. Isn't that great?
Yeah,
and it looks great.
We decided we had to put it in. There was just a...
It just gives a proper finish.
Outside, new coordinated signs and awnings are being fitted. But that's not all. Francis is about to find out there are even bigger plans.
Good design.
And you've cleaned off all the building?
Covered all the wires, we just had to barricade them up. We've got to paint that now and keep it in the same tone. Yeah. Clifton is in the middle of locating some nice mosaics to do the bar outside.
Yeah, what bar outside?
We're going to put a bar right kind of overlooking the sea.
Yeah, we're going to do crepes and nice coffee.
Or like a counter with not a roof
on it?
No,
putting it like a proper bar. So we're going to put these two huge parasols which are heated and lit.
Cover the whole thing?
Cover the whole yard, yeah. So.
Building an outdoor bar could cost more than €50,000. Francis wants them to scale back their ideas and work with what they already have.
Now, a job like this, because it's got so big, it worries me because it becomes time pressure then. Then you start throwing money at things and you say, oh, just get it done. Not working to a budget. So have you got a budget?
We've been careful.
So I'm sure you're up all night thinking about that, Louise.
Sleepless nights, I'll have you know, sleepless nights. No, I think we've actually sourced things pretty cheap, and like builders, you know, they're crying out for work. So.
I would be a little bit anxious by the fact that all the money is going out and there doesn't appear to be a major plan in place for money coming in. Because revenue stream is what it's all about. And the Cliffs has no plan at all just at the moment. So you need to knuckle down, get a plan together and work on it before the job is finished.
With so much money being spent, it's vital they increase turnover. The Brennans want to turn Clifton and Louise's attention back to the Cliff restaurant. It's currently lying idle and could become a small wedding venue at very little cost. The plan today is to decorate it as a surprise, and John's brought along wedding planner Sandra Kelly.
Now, the story here is they built this a number of years ago and it didn't work out the way they expected to work out business-wise, okay? And their head now is all over the place doing other things, and we think they should concentrate on this because they have it.
Absolutely.
So, you can work your wonder on this and we'll see what happens during the day.
Excellent.
Sandra and her team have just a couple of hours to work their magic. Hopefully, seeing the Cliff decorated for a wedding will make Clifton and Louise realise its potential. To help the argument along, John's taking the opportunity to talk figures.
We're kind of concerned that you're spending an awful lot of money in a lot of different areas and there mightn't be much return coming out of it. Yeah. And really what we're worried about is the money coming back in. And the potential for the money coming back in that you're not looking at the moment in our minds is for weddings in the Cliff. It's ideal for a wedding of 40, 50, 60 people. there or thereabouts, we would think, okay? So say we'll just say 40, we'll go on the low number, all right? At 65 euros per person for food, all right? That gives you a turnover of 2,600 per event, and we would think that you could have 10 functions or celebrations there a year, which will give you an additional turnover of 26,000 on food alone.
Well, that's a great intake, isn't it?
The cost of doing it is only marketing and packaging of it.
Yeah.
And we think that more concentration on that would be more rewarding to you financially than some of the things that might be targeted at the moment. So we'll take a little wander and we'll see what's happening up there.
Having small weddings in the Cliff will also drive room sales in the Strand. John's hoping Sandra's black and bling look will win over Clifton and Louise.
Now,
Wow, it's very...
there we go.
Slick.
Wow, very slick.
Oh, it's cool.
It might look good, but Sandra's also convinced that there's a demand for smaller wedding venues.
The market really is crying out for venues that will cater for smaller numbers, maybe 40 to 60, circa that amount. Sometimes you'll end up in a conference room and you can decorate it, but this is perfect. This is made for this. So I really think you could be onto something really, really good.
Will I go get Mum? Because she'd actually love to see this.
That's a great idea.
Okay.
Now,
Come on.
Oh, wow.
there you go. Now,
Oh, that's stunning. God, I'm impressed.
It's a big difference, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It might have my head just as a restaurant.
We didn't even think of it as a wedding venue. You need somebody to come in sometimes and give you a heads up, basically. And by dressing this room and doing it like they've done, it's actually very impressive.
Inspired by the wedding makeover, Clifton and Louise decide to relaunch weddings for the whole business, and the Brennans have told them to hold a wedding fair.
And we wanted to get like maybe a couple of hairstylists just to give...
Local hairdressers, cake designers, photographers are being booked.
Yeah, but you'll definitely do yourself? That is great news.
At the Strand, work is also going well. The middle bar is almost complete, and outside work is continuing to smarten the place up. It's been a busy 4 months, an expensive one too.
But I think I've gone a little bit beyond the budget I had in mind. I'm giving my mum probably a couple of heart attacks. But I think any of the things that we've added on are going to actually benefit us, and I think it'll bring in more business. Yeah, I'm done with the spending.
It's the day of the launch and wedding fair. The Brennans are greeted with sun and a smart exterior. Gone are the exposed wires, faded signs and tatty tables. In their place is stylish outdoor furniture. The transformation continues right into the middle bar. There's a fresh, coordinated look throughout, and the new reception desk shows a renewed commitment to room sales.
oh, there.
Wow, it's a big change here.
Here's changes, right?
The Brennans insisted that the bedrooms, bar and lounge should all be coordinated. They've definitely got what they want.
Are the locals happy?
Yeah, we're getting a very positive reaction. Before, I found that people would come in. They mightn't stay, but now I find they're coming in, they're sitting down, having dinner. There's a really nice atmosphere, and people are spending a few bob, so it's very good.
Now, I'm dying to spot check the rooms.
Oh, to the rooms, amigo.
Right. And we might have a look at menus and brochures for weddings.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, show you up these rooms.
Yeah, now look at this. Now you passed that and you didn't even notice. Now, come on, we check the bathroom first.
Judging eyes.
Oh, very nice.
Nice products. We've listened to you. We said we get some nice snazzy things, flashy shampoos and conditioners.
Ah, but look at this. Oh no.
I'll fix this.
Anyway.
A medium one.
And why have we got the pillow upside down?
Because sometimes people sit upside down in the bed.
6 perfect hangers. But now I put them all together, but that'll be just me.
Well, you're very finicky. We know that. We know that.
This is telling me that your heart isn't in the rooms yet, but you have to come up the stairs regularly because this is where you make the money.
I know.
I keep saying that to you. And if you're pristine up here and doing the right job, people will come and they'll stay, but they'll come back again and again.
Yes,
spend money in the bar and food, so it has to be perfect.
Okay.
Room sales are still being neglected. So before the wedding fair starts, John wants to revisit the importance of selling rooms.
Now, the place is looking great, okay?
Thank you.
And you've spent a bucket of money.
Well, we spent a few quid.
A few quid, okay, so we have to get it back. Just ballpark, what would be the occupancy you would have for June, July and August? Roughly.
Roughly, our weekends are all full.
Right.
And midweek is probably running at about 50%.
Okay, so if you came in for the month on probably If you were, would you hit 55%?
Yeah, I think we probably would.
Thereabouts.
Yeah.
Okay. I work out there, for every 1% of occupancy that you increase, it's roughly about €7,000 in turnover in return. So if you were to increase occupancy by 20%, which I think is very doable from where you are at the moment, that would equate to €140,000. 3/4 of that at least drops to the bottom line, because it's coming from rooms and the profit margins are much greater. From a weddings point of view, they always take rooms.
Yeah.
So while you're selling a wedding on the ground floor, you're also benefiting from upstairs. So it's a great pitch today to tell people we have rooms, and come, we have a whole package here.
The fair is just a few hours away and local businesses have arrived to set up.
Oh God, you want to be good at tying your shoelaces for this?
In the Cliff restaurant, Sandra Kelly is back with a new colour scheme.
All right, so all we need now is people.
Okay.
The talk of weddings has also made Clifton and Louise more aware of the main restaurant, and that too is being decorated to encourage potential bookings. While work goes on, Frances takes the opportunity to see how Mum feels about the changes.
Now, I feel a great enthusiasm about the place. And Clifton and Louise, they've done a great job.
Absolutely wonderful. So all they have to do now is make a little bit of money.
Yes.
And prove to me that all this money is worth spending.
spending.
I wish their dad was here to see it.
I can
He'd
imagine.
be very proud of them.
Yeah, I can imagine.
As I am. They're brilliant.
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
to say, they're
yeah.
totally focused.
Yeah.
So if nothing else, you've done a great job in getting them focused.
The wedding fair has begun. For the next few hours, it's all about the hard sell.
But then next door we have the Cliff, and you have all the details in the brochure, and the contacts and the menus and all of that outlined.
At last, the focus has shifted to getting extra revenue.
So you're really thinking about getting married here in the Strand?
Absolutely, yeah.
We have a really nice venue up the road, which can do about a wedding for 50 people. It's very slick, it's modern, very contemporary.
There's a good crowd and the decorated Cliff restaurant is having the desired effect.
This is set for 32 people here, okay? Come up here for your meal, drinks reception downstairs, meal up here, and back downstairs for dancing then. So it works perfect.
No need to strip.
Well, you can strip if you want, but the camera might be great now on it.
There's been a huge investment in getting the Strand up to date, but Clifton believes it's money well spent.
We were going to spend 150 grand putting in a conservatory, and my mum is having a breakdown, but she was going to roll with it, and they said, don't do it. We probably spent somewhere between 80 and 100,000 euros. So when you compare it to what we would have spent, we've got a lot more bang for our buck.
Before the Brennans go, there's time for one more lesson.
Even though the bar is packed and there's a great buzz, I have to say one thing, you are not to forget about the rooms, because that's where the money is, and that's all I'm going to say.
Apart from that, everything else is great.
Yeah, hit the road there now.
The Brennans' hospitality boot camp is over. Hopefully, Clifton and Louise are ready to go it alone. It's been 2 months since the Brennans' last visit, and the Strand has had a busy summer. The new look middle bar has been working particularly well.
I thought we had a super summer. Our bar food is flying, which wouldn't have been the case the last few years.
And that was an awful lot to do on the refurb and what we had done. So you have to spend money to make money, so I think it worked.
The focus on weddings has also paid off at the Cliff and in the main building.
We've had a couple of inquiries for weddings up there. We have a wedding here next week for 120. I have 2 people coming back to me to discuss getting married in the Cliff, so it's paid off.
But the real triumph has been in the rooms. Bookings are up 25% and Frances's parting words have not been forgotten.
John and Francis said, you neglect your rooms, you neglect that whole side. So we were very focused on that this year, and I think by being more focused and conscious, we were selling our rooms.
We're proud, whereas before we opened the doors and kind of like, oh, what's behind this mystery door? And now we're like, oh, come in, welcome, it's a joy to actually show people to our rooms, Big thanks. Thanks, John. Thanks, Francis.
On the way later tonight, Gay Byrne discusses faith and the fighting spirit with Nobel Peace Prize nominee Father Shay Cullen in The Meaning of Life at 10:30. Next though, we're off to the RTE newsroom.